Welcome to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I am Ron Strauss, Executive Vice Provost and Chair of the Commencement Committee. It is now my pleasure to introduce the academic procession and begin the commencement ceremony while the sun and the Carolina blue sky tries to peek on through. Please welcome the distinguished representatives of the Chancellor's Cabinet and the faculty, led by Faculty Marshal Professor Patricia Parker. Please welcome the candidates for doctoral, master's, and professional degrees. Please welcome the candidates for baccalaureate degrees. Please welcome the fantastic members of the class of 1969 returning to celebrate their 50th class reunion. Please welcome Interim Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz and the distinguished members of the Platform Party, led by Faculty Marshal Patricia Parker.
Welcome to the 2019 Spring Commencement Ceremony of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. From my perspective, this is one amazing view. So many smiling faces in a sea of Carolina blue. Last fall, we celebrated the 225th anniversary of Carolina's founding, and you are the first class to graduate in this new era, as indicated by the unique 225th stoles that you're wearing today. Here at Carolina, we embrace our rich traditions while focusing on innovation and our future as the leading global public research university. You epitomize that future, and we are excited to celebrate your accomplishments today. Please stand as our cadets and midshipmen of the Army, Navy, and Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps present the colors. And now, let's join together for the singing of our national anthem by Susanna Stewart, a 2019 graduate in vocal performance, and might I add, the daughter and proud mother of Dean Terry Rhodes. Susanna.
Oh, say can you see
Please be seated. And also, please stay hydrated. Flanking the stage are the words of the famous journalist and Carolina alum, Charles Kuralt. What is it that binds us to this place? And it is, as it was meant to be, the University of the People. These powerful words strike at the chord of who we are here at Carolina. Yet today I want to focus on a different speech by Kuralt, given at a Carolina commencement much like this one in 1985. There he urged the graduates to join what he described as a conspiracy of good people. I love that, a conspiracy of good people. Most often when we hear the word conspiracy, it has a negative connotation, but not here. What Kuralt was talking about was a saving minority, the conscience of our country, people who return our world to reason, compassion, and decency. The conspiracy of good people are those who care, whose intrinsic reward and recognition is their belief in serving others. They don't complain that global challenges are too big and their ability to create meaningful change is too small. When Kuralt spoke those words, he was not blind to the challenges faced by these people. Challenges such as misplaced priorities, greed, cruelty, injustice, and ignorance. He calls each of us to rise above these challenges, to be people who have that impulse for good. Today, you graduate from an amazing institution, not only the leading global public research university, but it is, at its best, the global headquarters for the conspiracy of good people. The home to students, faculty, and staff who gather together to make positive change in our world. And that's what I see before me today. The class of 2019, an inspirational class filled with leaders, people who care deeply about helping others. You've awed us with your accomplishments and inspired us with your character. And now you have the opportunity and the corresponding responsibility to take this impulse for good well beyond what you could have imagined just a few years ago, further and deeper into our state, nation, and the world. Let's take a moment now to welcome those here today. I extend our welcome to our world-class faculty seated down here in the front row, our esteemed guests on the platform party, staff, families, and friends. And of course, this is Mother's Day, and we welcome with joy and love the mothers, grandmothers, my mother's up here. Hi, Mom. And hopefully, a few great grandmothers are with us today as well. Congratulations. I promised I'd do this. I want to say happy birthday to Amber Goodwin. I promised Amber, who I met at senior night at Sutton's, we had dinner together, and everyone else celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. And I also welcome our 50-year reunion class, the class of 1969. Wearing, as you might have noticed, their freshly designed and tailored Argyle sashes. Congratulations to the creator, Alexander Julian, who is here today celebrating with his classmates. The class of '69 came of age during the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and the start of the Gay Rights Movement. That year, the laser printer was invented, the internet was created, and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon. For the next 50 years, this class was part of the conspiracy of good people who built and served their communities. Their passion and commitment to discover and launch innovations, including Argyle, made a difference. They took their impulse for good from here into the world to push for change. Please join me in welcoming the class of 1969 home. Now let's celebrate you, Carolina's class of 2019. The fresh face of our future will include 3,944 undergraduates, 1,244 master's students, 588 professional students, and 258 doctoral students who we celebrated yesterday. When I call these next groups, please rise and remain standing. Members of Phi Beta Kappa, our Carolina First, the first in their families to go to college. Our Carolina Covenant Scholars, and our Chancellor's Science Scholars. Our active duty and veteran graduates, many wearing special red, white, and blue Carolina blue cords. Please join me in a round of applause. Please be seated. Now we want to take a moment to remember those in our community who have passed away. And we also want to remember those who lost their lives in the shooting at UNC Charlotte just 2 short weeks ago. Riley Howell and Ellis Reed Parlier. They were students just like you, and we mourn the loss of their future. Please join me in a moment of silence. It's now my pleasure to introduce my distinguished colleagues on the platform who, like the faculty, family, and friends here today, also believe in your capacity and in the promise of your Carolina education. I'll call their names and ask them to stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until I've recognized everyone. Bob Bluen, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost. Christy Hurt, Interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Lauren DeGrazia, Assistant Provost and University Registrar. Lloyd Kramer, Chair of the Faculty. Vin Stepanidis, Secretary of the Faculty. Shayna Hill, Chair of the Employee Forum. Chasten Swain, President of the Graduate and Professional Student Federation. And Deans of the Schools and College of Arts and Sciences. First with Interim Dean Terry Rhodes, College of Arts and Sciences. Dean Martin Brinkley, School of Law. Dean Wesley Burks, School of Medicine. Dean Fuad Abdal-Halik, School of Education. Interim Dean Darren Thacker, Eshelman School of Pharmacy. Dean Steve Mattson, the Graduate School. Dean Doug Shackelford, Keenan Flagler Business School. Dean Gary Bowen, School of Social Work. Dean Susan King, School of Media and Journalism. Dean Gary Marcinini, School of Information and Library Science. Dean Barbara Reimer, Gillings School of Global Public Health. Dean Scott DeRossi, Adams School of Dentistry. Dean Nina Paragallo Montano, School of Nursing, and Dean Mike Smith, School of Government. Also with us today are members of Carolina's Board of Trustees, Haywood Cochran, Jeff Brown, Julia Grumbles, Allie Ray McCullen, and Ed McMahon, Richard Stevens, and Savannah Putnam. We thank them for participating in this special day. Thank you. I will introduce the rest of the platform throughout the ceremony as you hear from them. And at this time, I would like to ask Dr. Bill Roper, President of the University of North Carolina System, to the podium to bring greetings. Dr. Roper.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations to the graduates. I'm honored by Chancellor Guskiewicz' invitation to speak with you today, and it's a privilege to bring greetings on behalf of the entire UNC system, almost 300,000 students, staff, and faculty across our great state. Today's joyous occasion is a celebration of your achievement, but it's also an annual celebration of the founding of American public higher education right here in Chapel Hill 2.25 centuries ago. I want to thank the staff and the faculty whose hard work, dedication, innovation, and expertise are daily showing our nation and the world what a leading global public research university can be and how it benefits our entire state and beyond. When our son, Will, who's also a graduate today, was in elementary school, they had a tradition of walking across a small wooden bridge, symbolically making the point that they were going from first grade to second grade and so on. Today, all of you are crossing a bridge too, and I wish you all the best for whatever lies ahead for you. My career has been one surprising thing after another, especially this current gig. And I would just say, may you have many happy surprises. And finally, to all the mothers here and beyond who've made this day possible for all of us, Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, President Roper. I'm pleased to invite Ann Maxwell, a member of the UNC Board of Governors, to the podium. Ms. Maxwell graduated from Carolina in psychology in 1975, and she will bring greetings and present the Board of Governors Excellence in Teaching Award.
Thank you. Good morning and happy Mother's Day. On behalf of the entire University of North Carolina Board of Governors, it is my great pleasure to bring greetings to today's graduates, to your families, and to guests, and to our distinguished faculty, staff, alumni, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Guskiewicz, and members of the Platform Party. Congratulations, graduates. We are here today for you, to celebrate you and your accomplishments. The state of North Carolina and UNC have provided you with a world-class education from an internationally acclaimed educational institution. Being the exceptional and phenomenal students that you all are, you have earned a degree from one of the best universities in the world. Your experiences here and your earned degrees will provide you with the knowledge and skills necessary and important to achieve great success in these exciting and ever-changing complex times. Wherever your future endeavors may be, we hope you will always stay connected to our wonderful university. And wherever you may be in this wonderful world, remember, you will always be a Tar Heel. You deserve to celebrate, but let us remember the important contributions of our special faculty and staff at UNC-Chapel Hill, especially the teachers who are committed to helping you thrive in excellence. There are so many great faculty members on this special campus who exemplify outstanding teaching, and today we want to recognize one of them. It is my privilege to present this year's Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching. This award was established in 1994 by the Board of Governors to recognize the importance of teaching and to reward great teachers across the university system. These awards are given annually to a tenured professor member from each of our 16 campuses. The recipients are nominated by a special committee on their home campus and selected by the UNC Board of Governors. This year's recipient from UNC-Chapel Hill is Professor Don Heinstein. I would like to ask Chancellor Guskowitz and Professor Heinstein to come forward. Professor Heinstein is the Audrey L. Brooks Professor of Law. He teaches environmental law, the law of economic regulation, and insurance law. For over 30 years, Professor Heinstein has been recognized for his commitment to students and for excellence in teaching. At the UNC School of Law, he has won the law school's Frederick B. McCall Award for Teaching Excellence, a record of 8 times, in 1989, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2003, 2005, 2008, and 2012. Did anybody count those 8 times? Professor Hornstein has had an equally distinguished record of scholarship and professional accomplishments. In 1997, he was named a Fulbright professor and served for 1 year at the University of Asmara in East Africa, working on international development and natural resource issues. Ever since, he has been active with the UNC Fulbright program here on campus. In 2008, the General Assembly appointed Professor Hornstein to a special study commission on coastal hurricane insurance, where he helped design the state's coastal insurance program enacted by the legislature in 2009. At the university, Professor Hornstein has been repeatedly tapped by university leadership for especially important administrative work. The university's past 2 chancellors have appointed him to chair the university's scholarship awards and financial aid committee, where Professor Hornstein has become one of the campus's most visible and effective proponents of affordability and access for Carolina undergraduates. Before coming to Carolina, Professor Hornstein had a distinguished career as an attorney in Washington, D.C., and to this day, he has a secret career as one of the country's most engaged long-distance hikers. Professor Hornstein, for your passion and commitment to students, we celebrate your outstanding professional achievement and salute your demonstrated commitment to great teaching and inspiring a new generation of learners. In honoring you, we also acknowledge the more than 14,000 dedicated faculty members who teach over 225,000 students throughout the University of North Carolina. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. I'm now pleased to introduce the Chair of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Haywood Cochran. Trustee Cochran will bring greetings from the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, all. We say good morning and congratulations to all our new graduates. I hope you like the sound of that as much as I like saying it. I'm honored to bring greetings and happy Mother's Day wishes on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. This is an incredibly important day of celebration. We are incredibly proud of what you have achieved, not only in the classroom, but as a very valuable and integral part of the Carolina community. As trustees, I also want to thank all the parents, family members, and friends who are with us today, and thank you for your important supporting role in the achievements and success of our graduates. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have had the life-changing experience of getting an education at this wonderful institution as a Morehead Cain Scholar and to fully experience Chapel Hill. What a wonderful place to go to school. My diploma remains a tremendous source of pride after all these years, and I hope the same can be said of you. I commend the hard work and personal sacrifices that each of you have made, and often being joined in those sacrifices and hard work by your parents, friends, and family. At Carolina, we transform lives in exceptional ways. This is why our university exists, to serve the people of North Carolina, the nation, and the world. But this is one of the nation's great public research universities, and we commend those on the faculty, those on the staff, who make this experience so exceptionally positive. As trustees, it is our job to support Chancellor Guskowitz and his staff and others involved in the educational process here at this wonderful institution. You have made the most of the wonderful opportunities that Carolina can provide for you and have contributed in extraordinary ways to the university and to its mission. Whatever path you choose in the future, we're confident that the world-class education you have received here has prepared you to continue these exceptional achievements. Congratulations again, and have a wonderful Carolina weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cochran. I'm now pleased to introduce the Chair of the Board of Directors of the General Alumni Association, Ferg Norton, who will bring greetings on behalf of Carolina's more than 330,000 living alumni.
May I add my congratulations on this special day. After years of hard work, countless anxious moments, and many late nights, you have earned your degree from Carolina. You and your family should be justifiably proud. Now you join the largest and only permanent part of our Carolina family. Now you are among the more than 330,000 official organization for all Carolina students. The GAA will keep you informed about and connected with your university, your classmates, your local Carolina club. Bi-monthly magazine will keep you advised, the Carolina Alumni Review. As our newest alumni, you will be particularly interested in our very useful Alumni Career Services Program and opportunities to network. You were a Carolina student for a few short years. Now, you'll be a Carolina alumnus forever. Don't slip away. Let the GAA help you take Carolina with you wherever you call home. Make sure to download and log into the new UNC Alumni app to keep Carolina in your pocket as a trusted companion. I assure you, as time goes by, good friends and good times will be remembered and appreciated more than you will never know. One final request. Wherever you may move and whenever you move, change jobs, get married, have children, please be sure to share your news with your alumni association. Hark the sound, go Heels.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. Commencement is an opportunity for us to recognize extraordinary and accomplished individuals who embody the mission of this great institution and inspire us all. Each year, the faculty selects these individuals for distinguished service to the university, the state, the nation, and the world. Upon these individuals, we are privileged to confer honorary degrees in recognition of their exemplary achievement and impact. I call now upon Provost Bob Lewin to lead the ceremony. Vin Stepanitis, Secretary of the Faculty, will come forward to read each citation.
Hatcher Buckley.
Chancellor Guskowitz, it is my honor to present Rebecca Hatcher Buckley, who has been recommended by the faculty, approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Science.
Rebecca Hatcher Buckley graduated with an AB from Duke University in 1954 and an MD from the University of North Carolina in 1958. She served as chief of Duke University's Division of Allergy and Immunology from 1974 to 2003 and has been the James Buren Sidbury Distinguished Professor of Pediatrics and Professor of Immunology at Duke since 1979. Buckley's research is focused on the causes of genetic immunodeficiency diseases. Her work on the severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome led to newborn screening for this condition. Buckley has received numerous awards and honors for her contributions to medicine. She was elected to the Institute of Medicine, inducted into the National Academy of Sciences, and received the Lifetime Achievement Award in Genetics from the American College of Medical Genetics. For outstanding accomplishments in medicine, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Rebecca Hatcher Buckley the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa.
Rebecca Hatcher Buckley, by virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina, by the state of North Carolina, and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science.
Will Stephen Weiss please conduct forward Joseph Henry Burnett III.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Joseph Henry Burnett III, who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Performing Arts.
J. Henry T-Bone Burnett III has earned an unparalleled reputation as an innovative artist, songwriter, producer, performer, film and concert producer, record company owner, and artist advocate. Born in St. Louis, Burnett grew up in Fort Worth, where he first began writing songs and making records. He was asked by Bob Dylan to play guitar on the now legendary Rolling Thunder Revue. He later made 3 acclaimed records with the Alpha Band before recording a string of solo albums in the 1980s. Burnett has also worked on many films, including The Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, Cold Mountain, The Hunger Games, and Crazy Heart. He also has multiple credits in television series, including HBO's True Detective and ABC's Nashville. He has won an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, a British Academy of Film and Television Arts Award, and 13 Grammy Awards. He has worked and collaborated with musicians across many genres, including Elton John, Alison Krauss, B.B. King, Tony Bennett, Taylor Swift, and Leon Russell. For outstanding accomplishment in music and film, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Joseph Henry Burnett III the degree of Doctor of Performing Arts honoris causa.
Joseph Henry Burnett III, by the virtue of the university vested in the University of North Carolina, by the state of North Carolina, and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Performing Arts.
Will Dean Mike Smith please conduct forward John L. Sanders?
Chancellor Guskowitz, it's my honor to present John L. Sanders, who's been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree Doctor of Laws.
John L. Sanders, who earned his undergraduate and law degrees at Chapel Hill, has been described as the measure of what it means to be a North Carolinian. William Friday once called him North Carolina's unsung hero. Guided by a sense of mission, Sanders quietly devoted a lifetime of service to this university and to our state. As a professor and 2-time director of the Institute, now School of Government, he worked extensively with legislative commissions to reorganize state government, revise the state's constitution, and expand access to higher education. He also furthered the Institute's ability to provide training and advice to our state's public officials. Beyond the Institute, Sanders played a vital role in shaping higher education and historic preservation in our state. He drafted the first affirmative action and long-range planning documents for the UNC system and helped to secure funding for the preservation of many of our state's historic buildings. He succeeded in helping move our state forward while protecting the best of its past. For outstanding accomplishment in public service and higher education, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on John Lassiter Sanders the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
John L. Sanders, by virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina, by the state of North Carolina, and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Will Dean Terry Rhodes please conduct forward Nelson Schwab III?
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Nelson Schwab III, who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Nelson Schwab III is a founding partner of Capital, a private investment firm that has raised approximately $1.2 billion since 1996. Previously, he was chair and CEO of Paramount Parks and chair of the Hershen Family Entertainment Corporation. He has been chair of the North Carolina Outward Bound School and of the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center, and has served on numerous other corporate and charity boards. Schwab holds a BA from UNC-Chapel Hill and an MBA from the Wharton School. At Carolina, he served on the Board of Visitors, the Keenan Flagler Board of Visitors, and the Carolina First Campaign Cabinet. He chaired the UNC Management Company and helped its assets grow from $600 million to over $6.2 billion today. He was a founding supporter of the Institute for the Arts and Humanities and served on its Board of Advisors. He also served on the Board of Trustees and was chair from 2005 to 2007. For outstanding accomplishment in business and philanthropy, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Nelson Schwab III the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Nelson Schwab III, by virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina by the state of North Carolina and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws. There's no better example of what it means to be a member of the conspiracy of good people than our commencement speaker, Jonathan Reckford. Jonathan Reckford was a political science student in UNC-Chapel Hill's College of Arts and Sciences, a Moorhead Kane Scholar. He graduated in 1984 and started his career on Wall Street. One of Carolina's 39 Luce Scholars, he worked in Korea with the Seoul Olympic Organizing Committee and coached the Korean rowing team. He's held management positions at companies such as Best Buy and the Walt Disney Company, and he spent 2 years as a pastor of a local church. And for the last 14 years, Jonathan has served as CEO of Habitat for Humanity. Habitat's goal is to eliminate barriers to affordable housing worldwide. They've helped over 22 million people move into new homes in every U.S. state and in 70 countries since its founding in 1976. In 2018 alone, Habitat helped 8.7 million people secure new or improved housing. Jonathan has deep ties to our Carolina community. His father, Kenneth Reckford, was a longtime faculty member in the classics department. And one of his children is a Carolina graduate, and another will attend UNC-Chapel Hill this fall. Jonathan's vision is to one day create a world where everyone has a place to live. I'm so excited for him to share that vision with our graduates today. Please join me in welcoming my good friend and a Tar Heel treasure, our commencement speaker, Jonathan Reckford. Thank you. Go get him. Have fun.
Thank you, Kevin, for those kind words. It is such an honor to be with all of you. And I so appreciate that kind introduction. Kevin also could have shared a different introduction, also true. Failed attempt to become student body president here at UNC. Mediocre investment banker at Goldman Sachs. Laid off from my job at Marriott. And after I had 3 kids, unemployed for 18 months. Those are some pretty epic fails, but also an important part of the story. I'll come back to that in a bit. First, I want to congratulate all of you. This is a great moment for you and your families. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms. There's one more big celebration ahead, when the job offers are extended and your graduate officially becomes a full-time, wage-earning, tax-paying fine citizen. And you are no longer footing the cell phone bill. Speaking of cell phones, I know you're looking at them. Feel free to share the highlights. Class of 2019, I know how hard all of you have worked. 774 of you are first-generation college students. More than 60% of you have performed research or gained workplace experience serving as collaborators in faculty labs. And thanks to so many of you, Carolina continues to be a national leader in social innovation. You're amazing. Congratulations. As Kevin shared, this setting is not new to me. 2 years ago, I sat among the guests and watched my son graduate. And back in 1984, yikes, I am old, I sat over there back then with a group of my friends during commencement. Sad to say so many goodbyes, but eager to start my new life. Chapel Hill will always be home for me. I was born in Memorial Hospital, and we lived on Franklin Street. My dad was a classics professor here. I met my wife here, and my daughter will be a freshman in the fall. We're very excited. I'm pretty sure our blood really is Carolina blue. So I get to congratulate you, not just as some guy making the commencement remarks, but as a proud fellow Tar Heel, and I am so happy for each one of you. Now let's get back to those failures I was talking about. I often refer to the tough times that we leave off the resume as the white spaces. But it's been during those times that I've often learned the most and focused more on what God would have me do rather than my own agenda. So what about you? How do you know what you should be looking toward in the next chapters of your life? How will you discover what your calling is? I'm not asking about grad school or the profession you've been preparing for. I'm asking you to think about how you'll find your purpose, how you will discover, as theologian Frederick Buechner describes it, where the deep gladness of your heart and the world's great need meet. Today I want to ask you 3 questions about calling that perhaps you've not considered. I hope that pondering your responses will help you discover what God created only you to do. Number 1, whose voices will you allow to speak into your life? Number 2, how will you define rich? And number 3, what are you uniquely wired to do? First, influence. Whose voices do you allow to get through the barrage of messages you receive every day? We're all influenced by others. Look at your clothes. Listen to the phrases in your conversations. And consider your social media feeds, even the food you eat. The people around us and the media hold great power to influence our decisions and shape our behavior. That's why I believe it's critical to have strong role models. My first, perhaps most influential role model was my grandmother. Her name was Millicent Fenwick, and she was quite a colorful personality. She was a civil and human rights pioneer and New Jersey congresswoman who encouraged me at an early age to care for the lost and left out in our world. If you've ever heard of the comic strip Doonesbury, the character of Lacey Davenport in the strip was modeled after my grandmother, who had a very imposing presence. Prior to her public life, she had written the best-selling Vogue book of etiquette. So in order to graduate to the grown-up table at her house, one had to be able to sit up straight, hold one's fork properly, and discuss food problems in sub-Saharan Africa. Both fascinating and terrifying for a 10-year-old. Almost every time I saw her, she would challenge us to be useful and would recite to me Micah 6:8 from the Bible. He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? That passage of Scripture and my grandmother's unconventional determination to fight for social justice were profound influences on my life. So who are your role models? Who are the people who influence you the most? Do you surround yourselves with positive people who want to make the world a better place and bring out the best in you? Increasingly, you have the power to decide which people and which messages you're going to pay attention to. You'll figure out which ideas are important to you and which ones you'll reject, which values you want to anchor your life around. You will hear certain mantras over and over again in your head, and they do impact your behavior. Whose voices will you allow to speak into your lives? Second question, how will you define rich? Turns out that research indicates that many people equate rich to someone who makes twice as much money as I do. And that actually holds true whether you make $30,000 a year or $1 million. For some people, being rich means being laser focused on amassing more money and more things. And there's no question life is easier when you have money. However, once you can pay the bills and can accrue some savings, studies show that there is very little correlation between wealth and happiness. And you can also be rich in other ways. Rich in family and friends, rich in opportunities, rich in blessings. Likely your definition may change over time. It certainly did for me, particularly when I come face to face so often with extreme poverty around the globe. And when I realized that half the people in the world live on less than $2 a day. That's for food, clothing, shelter, everything. Before you get that first post-graduation paycheck, you are already among the richest people in the world. That reality has caused our family to do some deep introspection. My son Alexander and I learned quite a lesson about wealth, compassion, and generosity when we traveled to Zambia. We worked alongside the Piri family to help build their home. Although they had very few belongings, and were 9 people living in a makeshift tent, they still welcomed into their home 4 nieces and nephews who were AIDS orphans, along with another young man named Gift. Sadly, after his mother died, Gift suffered terrible abuse from his father and ended up in the street. Now, if we measure ourselves compared to the Piris in terms of material possessions,
it's easy to see that we have more stuff. However, I've not often seen such true expressions of love, hospitality, generosity, and contentment as this family who opened their hearts and their lives so willingly. Being grateful for all that we have and finding joy in our circumstances is so important for a rich life. Billions of dollars are spent on advertising, and endless curated social media feeds are designed to make us feel deprived. So we chase possessions and status in the pursuit of happiness. But we must not confuse happiness with joy. Happiness is dependent on what's going on around us, and none of us are going to be happy 100% of the time. But joy is a different story. Joy comes from within. It's a matter of the heart that's not circumstantial. Joy is the understanding that there is a greater impact, a greater goal, a greater purpose than what we might experience on any single day. I was recently asked if joy isn't an emotion rather than a virtue. I would argue that joy is a virtue, and that being joyful is a choice that requires action. I urge you to try to recognize the richness in your life and to choose joy. You have the opportunity now to start developing patterns and setting in motion a plan that can lead you to a very rich life. The question is, how are you going to measure your wealth? The third question, and perhaps the most difficult for many people to answer, is what am I uniquely wired to do? Around the country this month, commencement speakers are likely talking about following your passion. I would argue that is important, but insufficient. If I had done that, I would have attempted a basketball career. There's one small problem: giftedness. I was 6 inches taller, could leap 20 inches higher, and extend my shooting range by, well, a lot. I would have been all set. Living in the dorm with a couple of guys named Jordan and Worthy clearly reinforced the idea that talents and abilities don't always match up with our passions. So perhaps the right equation is passion plus ability plus a worthy cause equals purpose. Think back to that Buechner quote: "You will find your purpose where the deep gladness of your heart and the world's great need meet." Sometimes gladness and struggle are intertwined until you work through the things that trouble you. I discovered the deep calling in my life when I left a job with a ferocious non-compete clause that prevented me from working. I had a lot of time on my hands. I took a trip to rural India, working with the Bungi, the poorest, most marginalized group in the country. The only jobs they were allowed to do were hand cleaning latrines and cleaning up dead animals. Without some intervention, half the children in those communities didn't make it to their 13th birthday. Seeing children living in those conditions devastated me. It was what Clarence Jordan, pastor and spiritual father of Habitat for Humanity, called divine irritation. What that looks like is often people see some terrible event unfold in our community or in the world, and the response is, "That's terrible, somebody ought to do something about that." Then they change the channel. Divine irritation is when you watch that same event and it wrecks you. It's when God seizes you by the scruff of the neck and gives you such a sense of urgency that you have to respond. That's what I felt working with those beautiful children. At that point, I believe God was reaching out to me, and I was fairly sure I wanted to devote the rest of my life to helping the world's poor. Some of you may have experienced such moments of divine irritation in your lives, but many of you may have not. That's okay. I was married, had children, had been a corporate executive for 15 years before I had that dramatic encounter in India. Divine irritations that move us to action are not always bolt of lightning moments. Sometimes the nudges come gradually. I would urge you to pay attention to the things that gnaw at you over and over. Those are the things that will move you to take action, that will motivate you to make this world a better place. This next season of your life is your time to learn as much as you can about the world, to gain all the experience you can, and to struggle with the things that you can't get out of your mind. This is also a time for making decisions about who you will become. I'm an adamant believer in strength of character. And ultimately, your success will be measured not by what you've achieved, but by who you are. Who before what? My hope for each one of you is that you will always have at least one friend with whom you can be fully transparent and who loves you for who you are and not what you do. I also hope you will be that friend. Finally, I want to be very honest with you and tell you that pursuing your calling will require sacrifice. But when you experience a moment of divine irritation, you simply have to respond. After that powerful experience in India, I came back home on fire, looking to find an opportunity to address global poverty issues. And then suddenly all the doors closed. I went through a long waiting period searching for the right mission or organization. Unexpectedly, I was asked to become the administrative pastor at our church. Despite the protestations of all the people I trusted most for career advice, my wife and I prayed about it, and we believed that taking the church job was what I was supposed to do. It turned out to be a wonderful opportunity to serve and grow, and an important time of preparation. While my career path often seemed to take surprising turns, I can now look back and see how all the experiences were preparing me for my current role. I urge you to create space in your life for reflection and listening. Continue to ask yourself, whose voices will you allow to speak into your life? How will you define rich? And what are you uniquely wired to do? In closing, I'd like to offer you this traditional Franciscan blessing. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may wish for justice, freedom, and peace. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done. Godspeed, class of 2019, and go Heels!
Wow. Thank you, Jonathan, for those inspirational words of advice. It's heartfelt. Thank you. We now turn to the conferral of degrees, and let's take a moment to recognize our outstanding undergraduates. These seniors are exceptionally accomplished students who exemplify the highest possible level of undergraduate scholarship. Will the candidates for baccalaureate degrees with highest honors please rise and remain standing? Will the candidates for baccalaureate degrees with honors please rise and remain standing? Congratulations to each of you on this outstanding achievement. And thank you to your faculty research mentors who guided you in this endeavor. They're a big part of this as well. Will all degree, and remain standing, will all degree candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina by the state of North Carolina and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculty has certified you, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining, and I offer you my warmest congratulations. Please be seated. I now invite Sean Kurz, President of the senior class, to say a few words on behalf of the class of 2019. Sean. At the conclusion of his remarks, he'll be joined by Senior Class Vice President Adina Gourmet. Together, they will lead you in the switching of your tassel, signifying your graduation from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Sean.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Chancellor Guskowitz now. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's been a while since we've all been together. Do you remember when former Chancellor Carol Folt greeted us at convocation in August of 2015 and said that the next time that the class of 2019 would be together would be on our commencement day? So, with that being said, we're here, and it is my honor to welcome us all back together. Greetings, class of 2019. Despite the fact that we haven't been physically together over the past 4 years, we have still experienced so much together. The most unique and special scholars, leaders, and friends make up the class of 2019. We are future doctors, we are community activists, we are first-generation college students, and and we have already contributed so much to our Carolina community and have so much more to contribute to our world. The class of 2019 is special because of the people in it, and even more special because of what we have been through together. While I was preparing for this speech, I was sent some speeches from the past years. Each speech mentions some pros and cons, ups and downs of their 4 years, and I have to say, none of it compares to what we have been through throughout our 4 years. We kicked off our time at Carolina in the winter with a huge snowstorm, canceling classes for a few days, which allowed us a significant amount of time to take our residence hall mattresses out to sled on Skipper Bowles Drive, which we soon found out was not allowed. The next 3 years didn't get much quieter. Some would argue it was utter chaos. We had a few more snow days, a couple of water crises canceling classes and campus events, 2 hurricanes, a tornado, changes in university leadership, governing bodies whose values differ from the student body, and brave activism which led to the removal of Silent Sam. Through all of these events, we have stuck together and made it through with the help of plenty of happy and proud moments that have made these 4 years so memorable. We have celebrated the field hockey team and men's and women's lacrosse teams win national championships. We have rushed Franklin Street 6 times, including when we won a men's basketball national championship. We had the chance to honor Aziz Sanchar, a Nobel Prize winner on our faculty. But most importantly, we have celebrated each other, our tremendous milestones and successes. Whatever chaos we've had during our time at UNC, these special moments have made our time here worth it. I reflect back on my 4 years at UNC, and I have learned that our Tar Heel bonds with one another can get us through anything. Our relationships have grown to include fellow students, professors, dining hall staff who always know how to put a smile on our face, and these people make the university the home that it is. Perhaps the most important thing that we have done in the past 4 years is form these meaningful relationships that will carry us for the rest of our lives. As we take our next steps, our relationship with other Tar Heels will continue to grow and will help us make a positive impact on this world. While leaving our home may be sad, I am so excited to see the dent that we will make in the world, because when we have each other, we can accomplish anything. Today is such a special day for all of us, and there are so many people to thank for getting us here today. Take some time today to thank your families, friends, professors, and others. I'm eternally grateful for all the support I've received from my parents, sister, and grandmother, who are all here today, as well as my friends and professors who have encouraged me throughout my time here. To conclude, people who know me know how much I love Webster's Dictionary. And today, I would be remiss in my duties if I did not consult this extremely important book. Webster's Dictionary defines graduation as the acceptance of an academic degree or a diploma. However, I define graduation as a time to celebrate our shared successes, our relationships, each other, and ourselves. Take pride in your success today and continue to change the world. Thank you.
As Vice President of the Class of 2019, I am privileged to lead you in moving your tassels from the right to left, signifying your new status. Congratulations. All right, are you sure? Now, on the count of 3, let's toss those caps in the air to celebrate. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was good. There you go. Yep. Sweet. Yay.
Now that's a beautiful sea of Carolina blue. Thank you, Sean and Adina. Congratulations, graduates. You can now join the 330,000 plus alumni of the University of North Carolina, the Chapel Hill, the conspiracy of good people. So many commencement speakers say that graduates are the future, but really, you are the today and the now. You can and will help lead the conspiracy of good people worldwide. So here is my charge to the class of 2019. We're almost finished. First, collaborate. When I came to Chapel Hill 24 years ago, I was struck by Carolina's unique culture of collaboration. Collaboration between co-conspirators. This is a place where low stone walls just don't define our campus, but they describe our culture. It turns out that it is the company that you keep. And as Jonathan just said, the voices that you allow to speak into your life. So surround yourself with good people, those who will challenge you, and the more diverse, the better. Collaborate to create a better community, country, and world. Second, be patient, because your dream job is likely not your first one. You will have to wait, to sacrifice, and to pay the price for your dream career but you will get there. Passionately following your own path to excellence will take a personal commitment to making tough decisions. And I'm not talking about whether to go to Topo or Sutton's for dinner. I'm talking about real-life challenging decisions and making a hard choice. The most difficult decisions in life revolve around balancing known happiness against a willingness to take a risk or a chance at something new. You will have to take that risk, and you won't be certain right away if it was worth it, because deferred gratification is part of life. And finally, integrity. We stand at a moment of great change, and a moment where the word integrity seems wrapped up in excuses, or should-haves, or could-haves. Let integrity be your light. Let it illuminate your path and be your impulse for good. When you are true to yourself and true to those around you, you will answer the constant call to do more. You will also know that you are a member of that conspiracy of good people. Our own Thomas Wolfe described Carolina as close to magic as I've ever been. As close to magic as I've ever been. So graduates, as the class of 1969 is doing today, I hope you will return home often to visit this place of magic. Now, before we leave, it's time for some important thank yous. Graduates, today was made possible thanks to the support of millions of hardworking North Carolinians, along with gifts from alumni and benefactors who care about this class and our great university. Thank you. Can I ask all the families and friends of our graduates to please stand? All the friends and families of our graduates. Class of 2019, it's your turn to say thank you to them. With us here today are members of our world-class faculty. They made your academic journey possible and encouraged you to consider new perspectives and ideas. Class of 2019, let's show them your appreciation with a round of applause. And behind the scenes and on the field are members of our Carolina staff. Will everyone please join me in a round of applause for this dedicated team. And now we also say thanks to Jeff Fuchs, Director of the University Band, and your fellow student musicians for their music today, and our student marshals for their work. And I would now like to welcome and introduce the UNC Cliffhangers with their seniors who will perform Carolina in My Mind. Following their performance, UNC Harmonics with their seniors will lead us in singing Hark the Sound. Afterwards, please remain in your seats until the platform party and faculty exits the field, and then graduates will exit the field to their left or to their right to join your families on the concourse level. Go Heels.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moon shining? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's a silver sun. Best look away and watch her shining. And watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now, and I'm crying. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. She whispers something soft and kind.
Go Tar Heels.
Hey babe, the sky's on fire, I'm dying. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark inside and late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling, with geese in flight and dogs that bite, and songs that might be omens say I'm going, gone to Carolina in my mind.
And a holy host of others standing around me. Still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Won't you say nice things about me when I'm gone? Won't you carry on without me when I'm gone? Won't you say nice things about me when I'm gone?